right, thanks for joining us. Are you looking for some sensible science? How about some atypical advice? And yes, even some down-to-earth diagnosis. Well, you, my friend, are in the right office. Get comfortable and welcome to Dr. Mary's ChiroPractical. Wait, did he say chiropractical? Welcome, Dr. Mary.
Well, hello, Richie. Thank
How
you
are
for
you?
having me. I'm good. Thank you.
It's your very own podcast after all these years.
I know. I'm very excited to have it. I'm very nervous.
You're not nervous.
I'm nervous. This is weird.
You fix people's very delicate spines and injuries on a daily basis.
I know, but
this is nothing.
But I don't do it on TV.
All right, I'll try to massage you through it. How about that? I'm Richie Witt, and she is Dr. Mary Collings, the chiropractor that's here not to impress us with big words. We don't want that. But we want you to help us improve our lives with little, subtle changes, practical changes. That's why it's not the chiropractic show. It's the ChiroPractical show.
I love that.
Who came up with that?
Well, I think you did,
Oh, well, that's fantastic. Give myself a pat on the back. So, have you ever thought about having a podcast? And I know you branched out from just Parker College here in Dallas, and you thought about, let me try to open a little office, and then now you've got this empire in Dallas. You're well known. Did you ever think, let me do a podcast? How did that come about?
Well, I'm talking to you, and I told you I wanted to do a little bit more media and trying to figure out how to get simple things that people ask me about every day, how to get it out to the community. And you had mentioned about that you guys were doing a podcast now, and so we kind of took it. Like I said, it's very exciting and very nervous, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. We're not going to take ourselves too seriously. You're going to give serious advice, but you give it in a casual, fun way.
Yes.
I can attest. I've been to your office for several bumps and bruises, and we'll talk about that as we go along. So this is what we call in the podcast business, Dr. Mary, S1E1.
What does that
Season
mean?
1, Episode 1.
Oh, kind of like Netflix.
Will there be a Season 2?
Well,
Just make a prediction. There will be.
Of course.
Fantastic. Then bookmark this and be sure to subscribe to Dr. Mary's Chiropracticals as we go along. All right, so you've accomplished a lot in your industry, and the podcast is just kind of the cherry on top of your super sundae of a resume. And we'll dive into this as more as we get going. But just for listeners, this is like, as we said, S1E1, a syllabus for what viewers are gonna hear and see. You're not gonna kill us with highbrow medical dictionary language, are you?
No, absolutely not.
What we want is, not fancy schmancy. I've been to you, and you can tell me, oh, that's your vertebra and your blah blah blah. But I'll just be like, what? And you'll say, just don't sit that way. That's the kind of advice we're going to get, right?
Exactly.
Okay. And you're going to give us real world stuff like how to hold an iPhone. Is there a wrong way to hold an iPhone?
There's a wrong way to hold an iPhone. Why don't you pick your phone up? There's
a wrong way to check text.
Absolutely. So just grab your phone and kind of.
So this is an example of chiropractical.
It is.
Okay. So this is how I'm going to get a text from you.
Okay.
All right. Hey, look, I got a text from Dr. Mary.
So look what happens. Look at how
I might be late to
your
my
head
first
is
show.
forward, your head's looking down, you're looking
wrong
down
with
into
my
the
head?
phone.
Let me give this
Look
to
at there you go. And so you
This
see
is
how,
wrong.
Yeah, it is wrong. So all we're going to do is we're going to raise it up just a little bit.
All right.
And we're going to bring it a little closer as long as your older eyes are
My
okay
older
with
eyes
it.
so far good.
But look at how much straighter your back is and how much the phone is right in front of you. And
I actually did feel my back go whoop. Now, doesn't this look like I'm taking a picture of somebody though?
Well, what's wrong with that? Maybe you'll get.
People are going to go, don't take a picture.
Maybe you'll make a friend.
All right, so this is going to go like this. I got a text. Oh, I got to do it this way. And then they're going to go, don't take a picture. And I'm like, I'm just being chiropractical.
Right, but do you want to be that old guy that's sitting over like this?
No, I do not.
No, so see.
So that's real. So this is
real
how I
life.
should be checking my text.
Absolutely.
Can I have my elbows like this? Or
Sure.
Is that hunched?
Yeah, but I'd still go up a little bit more.
So just higher is better.
Higher is
so
better.
So like this, like
no,
I'm checking my text?
not that high.
Just
right
eye
there.
high.
Eye high.
All right, there you go. How much do you charge for that advice here on the Dr.
You know
Mary
what? That'd be
Chiropractic?
$145.
Okay.
I'll give you a discount.
Put it on my
we've
bill,
known each
will
other
you?
for forever.
All right, so that's the kind of advice you're going to get on Dr. Mary's
Yes.
Chiropractical. Not a medical dictionary. She's not going to tell you every bone in the body and how they work together. But what kind of shoes to wear and what kind of pillows you should buy. What kind of cars best for you. The seats. There's a certain brand of car that's better for you than another.
Absolutely.
You would actually recommend a certain car.
Yes, and that's what people ask me about every day, and that's what I want to share, and that's the practical part
Right.
of the day-to-day stuff.
Perfect.
Yes.
So there's the Dr. Mary Chiropractical. Now, before we start disseminating too much advice and patting ourselves on the back, let's tell people who the heck we are and how we got here, shall we?
Oh, no.
Do you want to tell this?
I'll let you start.
So to do that, you've got to go back to 1992.
Wow.
I know. Do
That's
we even
a
go
lot.
back that
I
far?
don't know.
Does your abacus count that high?
I know.
I was a sports writer at the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. I was covering the Dallas Cowboys, and I hopped on a plane to go to Honolulu, Hawaii for the Pro Bowl. And on this plane, I was really tired, and I'd probably been covering the whole season. It was the end of the year, I was probably grumpy. But I saw this lovely, dynamic female, and I decided to probably flirt with you. This is probably the honest truth, isn't it?
Probably so. And I was also scared to death. This was my first time to ever fly over water by myself. And I think I was death gripped into the sea.
There is no doubt.
And you were sitting right beside me, and you were like, "What is wrong with you, woman?" And I was just like, "I've never flown over water." And it was just like, "I'm going to get you through this. I'm going to talk you through this."
It was total happenstance that we sat really next to each other. And as I'm putting in probably my gigantic portable CD player with a headphone, I see you literally gripping the seats, and I was like, this girl is freaked out. And I think a couple of cocktails and some conversation. Next thing you know, we're in Hawaii.
We're in Hawaii, and it just so happens like I was at the same hotel with. So I was over there shooting or doing work for the Pro Beach Volleyball Tour, which I was on my internship. And
you were just a little intern.
I was an
back
intern.
in the day.
I was just a lowly
How old
intern.
were you in 1992? How old-ish were you?
23.
Wow.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Just the other day.
Yeah. Just not too long ago.
So you're a little 23-year-old. I was 28.
Right.
And I was just starting at the Star-Telegram covering the Cowboys, didn't know what I was doing, and you're still an intern. And so we got over there, and I decided that this sounds like a very good place to pursue a woman that I've just talked over the ocean. So kind of take us what's happened
Well,
next.
and then because I was at the good hotel with where all the players were, and we were having our volleyball tournament down at the bottom. It was at Hilton Hawaiian Village, I think.
Yes.
And then here you came down there. Hey, I got a buddy that hurt his shoulder and his arm. Can you look at him later? And I was like, okay. I said, I got to work here first. So I piled up my table, and we go up to your friend, and it was just like the big blonde guy opens the door and he's like, oh, you're going to fix my arm? I'm like, sure. And I was like, oh my God, it's Troy Aikman. I was like, I didn't know what to do. I was like,
did
oh my
you
gosh.
know it was him immediately?
No, not exactly. I didn't really follow football that much.
So Troy and I had a relationship back then, and he did a diary for the Star-Telegram. So we were pretty good friends. And he had hurt his, was it his shoulder?
Shoulder and his arm. I think in mid backs was something like that. It's been a while.
Little did we know what he was going to break down, but it would take a while. But this was probably at the start. So he had his shoulder, and he kept talking about. We were down sitting by the pool, and he was talking about. He goes, off the record, man, my shoulder's killing me. And I was like, well, it's too bad you don't have a. And I just light bulb like, if I took this guy to that girl, that's my in. Totally, that's my in. And next thing you know, so you treated him, and that led to a lot of doors opening.
A lot of doors. So after I got back, I was still a student, but I kept in touch with them.
Still a student.
I was still a student.
And you're at Parker in Dallas, right?
I was.
Okay.
And then I was planning on going back to Oklahoma to start my practice, and you guys kind of were like, why? You've got these guys. And I was like,
that was a fair question.
Okay, true.
So what was your plan? Take me /
I was going to
my referral out of it. What was your plan when you got back from Hawaii?
Back to Oklahoma and practice back in my hometown of Alva, Oklahoma.
Alva.
How
many people live there? 12?
This many. Not very many. Whopping 7,000.
Well, let's back up a little bit. How in the heck did you wind up in Dallas from Alva? How did you wind up at Parker?
I went to Kansas State for my undergrad, and then after I got finished there, I wanted to go to chiropractic school, and it was either Davenport, Iowa, or Dallas, Texas. And I was like, winter or really nice weather.
What's in Davenport, Iowa?
Another chiropractic school.
Really?
Yes.
No, I mean, how long did that decision take?
One trip to Dallas when it was springtime, and it was like, this is beautiful. I'm coming down here.
I mean, at heart, you're a small town girl. I mean, you're raised in a town. So Dallas was probably a little bit intimidating.
Yes, sure.
But you also realized opportunities are probably more than Davenport.
It was just nicer.
And the weather. And the people are so friendly, they say.
Absolutely.
That's just what I heard.
And the school is really good, too.
Okay.
Yes.
So you came back to Dallas from Hawaii, and I'm telling you this, and Troy's telling you this. Why are you going back to tiny Alva, Oklahoma? Were you going to open a practice there?
I was, yeah. All set to do it.
Okay, look into your crystal ball. Where would you be right now today if you had gone back to Alva, Oklahoma? What would be happening?
Gosh, probably in like a very small office and probably living in a double wide.
That is
honestly
funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a big karma and things happen for a reason, but I mean, it's worked out for me. We've been friends now for 25
25
Been a
years.
minute.
Yeah.
Okay, so we convinced you to open a practice here.
Right.
And you were like, I don't have any money.
money,
I don't have
I don't
any.
I don't know how to
I've
do
got
it.
one
What do I
client.
do?
and
Yeah.
So just talk us through how did it work?
So I went to my grandmother. At the time, my grandmother raised me, and I went to her and I was like, I'd like to open an office in Dallas. She's like, well, how are you going to do that? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, well, you better get some money. So I trotted right down to the bank there in Alva, and I was like, I'd like a loan. And he was like, well, what do you got to put up for collateral? I was like, nothing. He was like, let me think about it. And he calls me the next day. He's like, all right, I'm going to give you that loan. I'm like, oh my God, I got a loan. And so I was so
Really?
excited, and I went looking for a space in Dallas, and I ended up finding this crazy little tiny office that it was over in Apelcon and Rochelle and Irving, and the landlord was two gentlemen.
That's right.
They're like, well, what are you going to do with this office? So I was like, I'm going to be a chiropractor, and they're just like, huh. So made it work for me, and I didn't realize until I went back to pay off that loan later. And my grandmother co-signed for that loan, so it was just like, so
did
she
she really?
wanted me to make sure she thought that I thought it was on my own, but
That's
paid
why
it all
grandmothers
back,
are
did all that.
genius.
I know.
So she had you thinking I'm on the hook for this, but really she had your back.
Yeah,
She had
always.
your back. Get it?
Very good.
All right. So to prove that these stories are legit, and this is probably going to freak you out. I've dug up some photos of us.
No.
And I recently moved, and I came across a box of these photos, and there's all sorts of stuff. You know how when you move, you're like, I didn't remember
What
that.
is this?
So we've got some photos we'd like to show you from when myself and Mary were just gallivanting around the country. We've gone to Vegas, and do you see this picture? Look at the screen there.
I do see that picture.
Where do you think that was taken? And
I have no idea. No, that one was definitely Vegas.
Okay, and this is kind of a weird connection, but you wore that hat at the pool.
I did.
And at that pool, we ate, and correct me if I'm wrong, we ate peeled frozen grapes delivered by 10-star models in tiny bikinis holding misters.
Yes, we did.
Oh, I can never repay you for that. I don't know how you pull that off. But that was it. It was at the Four Seasons,
Which is
the top of Mandalay Bay. And I thought about that the other day
know.
with the horrible shooting, and I was like,
full circle.
that was some of my best memories, and now it's a horrible memory.
Right.
But that was amazing. Now this picture here.
I think you know. I think you know that gentleman over there. That you're speaking.
For those
of
of you that have been in DFW a minute, that the guy on the left who's dressed so formally, that is Mike Fisher, who now works for 105.3 The Fan, and we worked together at the Star Telegram. He's been one of my best friends for 30 years, and this is actually. I think this was from your grand opening of your first office. So this is 93.
93. My first office, it was barely over 900 square feet. So it was one of the treatment rooms, but we had a great party.
That was okay. Now that is his ex-wife to the very far right in the dark hair.
Yep.
How are those people at the same party? He's wearing gray athletic shorts and she's wearing a black cocktail dress.
He's Mike Fisher. He doesn't.
Now,
He's Fisher.
how did you let me wear that jacket? Do you think I was Don Johnson? What is happening?
I think it was 1993. I think you were Don Johnson.
I think I was. I had padded
for 93,
shoulders and the whole thing.
Still don't know where Fisher's coming up with that.
Crazy?
I think he still has the outfit, though.
I think he still wears that today, actually. All right, so there's some very embarrassing.
Okay, notice the short hair too, right?
Look at your hair. It's very professional.
But at least we had a cocktail, right?
It does.
And that was the front door, the front of the office.
Yeah.
It was so inviting, so welcoming, so tiny,
And
tiny.
you were such a bootstrap production that you threatened me, I'm going to say, wink, wink, that you needed so much help. I had to answer your phones a couple of days.
Oh, you did? Because I didn't have an assistant to answer
So I would
the
go to
phones.
Valley Ranch and write stories about the Dallas Cowboys, and you would be like, what time are you coming to work? I'd be like,
need
okay,
somebody here.
I'll be there in a minute. And I went over there with my little computer while I'm writing Cowboys notes.
And your tiny little pad with your
My tiny
pencil.
little pad. And I would answer the phone. This is Dr. Witt. Can I help with this?
And to this day, he's still in my phone under Dr. Witt. Yes.
And people believed it. Oh, 100%.
absolutely.
So anyway, so you've gone from that, and I think you've done okay from there.
I think so.
Give us a history then of your office. So from that little office,
Little tiny office, and we outgrew it in about 6 years. And so then we moved over to about 5,000 square feet.
Sorry to interrupt you. Was there ever a time when you thought, what have I done? I'm not going to be able to make it. Because were the first couple of years lean? I know Troy introduced you to some cowboys, and then you built your clientele, but it was word of mouth. You didn't do advertising. There was no internet back then.
No, it's one thing I promised my grandmother I would never advertise or deny anybody care. And so it was word of mouth that was just getting out there. Had a lot of friends that we went out and about, and just that's how we kind of pushed it. But it was, and it was very nice. So Troy introduced me to the hockey team, or said, hey, why don't you take care of these hockey guys that are coming to town? I'm like, I don't know anything about hockey, but I was like, I'll try.
You don't have to know about hockey. You just have to know hockey bones.
Well, right. And read the paper a lot.
Right.
And so I kept trying to call Dave Supernaw, who was the trainer with the Dallas Stars. I was like, I think you need my help. And he was just like, we don't need you. I was like, no, really, you need me. I kept sending my curriculum vitae, and then finally one day he said, you know what, we're going to give you a chance. I'm sending you a player. I was so terrified. I was like, I don't know what to do. So there was a salon right next to my office, and so one of the girls who was from Boston, I'm like, she'll know. So I go over there. I was like, okay, there's a hockey guy coming in. What do I do? And she was very good about it. She's like, what position does he play? What's his name? Da-da. And I told her, and she's like, okay, well, he's a left wing, so probably a groin injury. So check on that. And I was like, okay. And so sure enough, it was.
So she gave you a hockey primer.
Yeah. And so, but I've been with him ever since. So.
Wow.
So apparently I did something right.
So you went from that little office. It took you 6 years to outgrow, but you finally outgrew it.
Yeah,
And then where
and
did you
I spent
go?
a few lean years on that,
Right.
and then outgrew that and went down into the urban corridor, as you taught me to say.
Yes.
The urban corridor of Las Colinas, and opened up 5,000 square feet where we kind of integrated with physical therapy there, and it was great. And then kind of outgrew that, and now we're in the Las Colinas Medical Center.
Wow.
I know.
So I haven't even been there. You've moved again since the other place. Wow.
So
okay.
now we're in the hospital building. We're with the fancy people.
Gotcha. Have you ever driven by your old office, the one that the pictures
absolutely.
were? What is it now? Like a little pizza
It's still a
joint?
chiropractic office.
What?
So I kind of sold it to another chiropractor that was just getting out. So it was perfect for his startup office. I'm not sure who's in there now, but still a
Gotcha.
chiropractic office.
That's good. Keep it in the family.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the Las Colinas story, but then you've gotten so big that now you need a Dallas story. What's up there?
So I had so many people that would come over from Dallas, and they were just complaining, of course, that there was too far to go. And so
That's Dallas people for you right
course,
there.
yeah.
It's
Highland
12
Park,
miles.
right.
I can't drive 12 miles for perfect care.
So I went at the time I was part of YEO, and I went into my forum, which is
What's YEO?
Young Entrepreneurs Association,
Of course
and
it
so it's just an organization. It's like just a group of good minds, and so
Okay.
I said, I think I want to open a Dallas office, and they're like, well, just do it. So I did it. First office was in Highland Park Village. It was small. It was upstairs above Pockets. It was a great startup place. And then as they were renovating Highland Park Village, we kind of got the boot. And now we're over in Snyder Plaza in the medical office in Snyder Plaza, which is just perfect for us.
And I'm assuming the clientele is a little bit different than Las Colinas than Dallas.
It's very well.
Do you have to put on a different face
no.
for them?
No. It's
Okay.
neighborhoody. It's snuggly, and it's
Okay.
like you get the
That's
get the
a
whole
good
family.
political answer.
you get the kids, you get the moms, you get the nannies, you
Right.
get everybody.
Gotcha.
Yes.
And then there's plans now to even expand your empire further.
Yes, we're going to Frisco. We're going to the Star.
You are?
Yes.
Wow. Now, and when's that going to open, and where's it going to be? Do you have any details?
Not exactly perfect details. Probably somewhere in the spring.
Very cool.
Yes. So we'll be in the Baylor Scott and White building that they're building for
Gotcha.
the medical professionals out there.
So, short version is you're doing okay for yourself. You've done
Very
pretty good.
blessed. Very
From the
blessed.
airplane, you've done well.
Thank you.
You're not an Alva anymore. Nothing against Alva,
and
but,
I still give you credit for it.
but speaking of Alva, hook 'em. By the way, we're taping this during Texas OU.
Boomer.
You're not, but just because you were from a town of 4 people, you're not boom. Where'd you go again?
K-State.
That's what I thought.
I know.
We talked about the game last week, but I'll give you a pass. On
La
that.
la 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 la.
Okay, so the athletic connection, you kind of dogged the Stars guy and wouldn't give up, and he kind of let you in the door, and that's led you to. And I'm going to toot your horn for you. The only female chiropractor that's the official team chiropractor of not one but 2 professional sports teams.
Yes. And I didn't even know that until somebody was putting together a booklet so other teams could use when they're in different towns. And the guy called me and said, by the way, we're putting you in the book. I'm like, well, thanks. He's like, for 2 teams, not just one. I was like, oh. He's like, and you're the only female. So yeah, it's pretty neat.
for one thing, you're such a dork. You don't even know that. You don't know how good you are, which is kind of your charm, but it's also why we're here to help you spread the word about
Yes.
you. So you're the official chiropractor of the Stars and also the
Dallas Mavericks.
right. So how did you go from Stars to Mavs?
So one of the Dallas Mavericks was needing some help, and so they turned to our trainer, Dave Supernaut, at the time with the Stars, and asked who they used, and he mentioned me. So then Casey Smith, who he brought the player out and said, "All right, let's see."
Casey's a former trainer.
He's still there.
Still the trainer.
Still
of
head
the,
trainer.
of the Mavs. Okay.
Absolutely, and so he brought him out, and I fixed him, and so I've been with them since, and that was 05 or 06. It's been a little while.
So how many? Dirk has just surpassed 30,000 points. I don't know if you knew that.
Amazing, right?
How many of those points do you get credit for keeping him upright in the line?
Oh, don't you think at least 12, 5? Like, I would say,
I'd say a third.
50, yeah,
I'd say
I'd
a
say
third of
third.
his points.
I like that.
Do you put that on your resume?
No, but I think I should ask if I can.
Assisted on 1/3 of Dirk's points.
Yeah,
that
it's
would be
like,
kind of
where am
cool. All right. It's not just sports though. You're so tip of tongue and top of mind in Dallas. Again, you're not going to toot your own horn. I'll do it for you. That when celebrities, athletes say, "Oh my gosh, I'm going through Dallas and I've got a bad, clavicle." Do you have a bad clavicle?
You can,
You have
yeah.
a bad
You would.
sacroiliac.
Yeah,
Do you have that?
Yeah.
Okay. Immediately, you make one call to somebody you know in Dallas, and they say, "Oh, you got to go see Dr. Mary." Give us an example of who might. You don't have to name names. I know you got to be sort of HIPAA dependent, but give us some names or some bands that might have just dropped in because you're the go-to.
Well, luckily, I'm taking care of all the teams. I also take care of the security people at the arenas, and so they're usually the ones
there you
that
go.
when
Yeah.
somebody comes out in a panic and asking, like in Security Sue, who's still at
Security Sue? She's been
everyone
there
knows
forever,
everyone
yeah.
knows Security Sue.
I should have her on a
Oh,
podcast
she'd be
and tell
good,
stories.
right? She's got
Yeah.
some good stories. But she would call and be like, "Oh," and she knows I'm ready, available. And being that our two teams are down there, I have tables already there, so it's nice that you can
You
just
almost
kind
have
of
an
get on there.
office in the AAC.
I do. I've got
Yeah.
2 of them down there. So in each locker room, so able to. But the one that really affected me, that was when they called me for Def Leppard, because I loved them. I loved them. They were my 80s, my 80s group. And
What was
so,
that call like? You don't have to tell us exactly who. But
well, it was like, I remember it was Labor Day, and so Sue called. She's like, "Is there anybody who could come down here?" And I was like, "Who's it for?" I was at the pool.
Right.
She's like, "Def Leppard." I'll be there in 10 minutes. I was like, I'm so excited. So of course I'll be there. And I was like, I was so excited. I got down there and I could hear them. They were doing sound check, and I'm like,
That's
okay.
really
And I'm
cool.
listening. I'm like, oh, it's like, yay. Well, they come down off stage, and then they come down, and it's like they're like dads in like pajama pants and cargo
Don't ruin it
shorts.
for us.
And I
No.
was like, oh, I go, where's the ripped up jeans and the mullet cut? And I was
Right.
like, but still, they were very, very nice.
So
But that was pretty cool.
drummer, lead singer, member.
Member, possibly would have a microphone in his
Possibly
hand.
would have a microphone. Now, this is a rumor I heard. I want to try to confirm this.
Yes.
When you treated this member with a microphone of Def Leppard, did you indeed pour sugar on him?
Actually, it was maple syrup, but yes, of course. No.
Maple syrup's more therapeutic than sugar.
Well,
they didn't change their
they got
song.
to change the song, right?
Maybe the sugar's for something else. All right, let's get back into why it's chiropractical. So you're not really, obviously, you have the education and experience. You know your stuff. But how is it that you talk to a guy like me and make it to where I understand it? Because I'm not sciencey. I'm a sports dork, and you know that. But I've gone to you for, I tried to make a list. One time I sprained my ankle playing soccer, and it was as big as a basketball,
Right.
and you fixed that. I went to the Olympics, and I came back, and my back was really sore, and you said, "Oh, you've been carrying your computer bag wrong. Here," and you fixed that.
Right.
And then just recently, a year ago, I was playing tennis and had a back thing. You're like, "Here, let me fix that." Never did you confuse me. You just said, "Here's what you do, and here's how you do it. See you later." Do you work on your communication skills, or does it just come naturally to you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Some doctors
right.
will just give you these long words, and here's your prescription. You'll just be like, "I don't know what's happening," but you just make it really easy to follow.
Because you don't want it to be overcomplicated, and it shouldn't be. Medicine should be like understandable, and people like. You do it with your heart, and you know what. And plus, I've had enough pain and suffering myself from some things that I'm like, oh, I know how to fix this.
Right.
But it's like you don't want to. People trust you, and they know you're going to take care of them well.
Right. But that's the beauty of chiropractical. It's not just practical, how to hold an iPhone, but you communicate it in a way where I understand it. It wasn't like hold your elbow at 42 degrees. It's like, hold it higher, idiot. Yeah, we get that.
Oh, right.
All right, so during this show, as we go along here on Dr. Mary's Chiropractical, each episode I'd like you to give a tip of the week. Like this was an iPhone tip.
Yes.
Do you have something else where it's quick and easy and somebody just watching and go, oh, I can make that little change in whatever I'm doing, it can make a big change down the road? Is it?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to hit a little bit on just from travel to how to adjust the car seats to, the airplane seat, how to make it a little more comfortable, what luggage I like, shoes.
Luggage you like?
Luggage.
So you're going to recommend to us luggage, shoes,
mattresses, pillows, but
Oh
those
my
are things
gosh.
that people ask me about every day. And it's stuff that I try to do my due diligence and go out and
Right.
research it and find out and, get the best. And I'll try myself. Like I'm
Right.
probably, I can't tell you how many pillows I've got at my house right now, but I have my favorites and those are the ones we're
Right.
going to go through.
So when you go to Dr. Mary's office, is treated the right word?
Yes.
Okay, you get treated in the office, but you give us real world experience and advice to keep us that way when we go out of the office.
Absolutely.
That's the beauty of it. All right, upcoming episodes. Here's what else we're going to do. Are we going to do some demonstrations? We get a table and like crack my bones and stuff?
Possibly.
Possibly. All right, people will
Your
love
clavicle, maybe.
that. Okay, I couldn't think of anything else. Also, this is what I get as not me, but my friends have gotten older. They get injuries like playing golf now. Or like I went snow skiing and now I've got is there a way for you to give us maybe exercises before those seasons start to keep us from having those injuries?
We'll work on it a little bit.
We'll work on that. That's something I'd be interested in.
Yes.
And then, all right, if anybody's watching out there and says, oh my gosh, Dr. Mary seems like a down-to-earth person, but she's also knowledgeable, I'd like to come see her for a visit. Just make an appointment, right?
Absolutely.
The Highland Park office phone number?
214-252-0000.
214-252-0000 is Highland Park. And out in Las Colinas, it's 972-256-7114, 972-256-7114. If you're a potential broadcast partner, a sponsor that says, you know what, I want Dr. Mary to try my shoes, my pillow,
Absolutely.
I've heard there's a cushion now that prevents you from breaking an egg that's in your pocket. I just heard that. It's crazy. But if you want to have us try it out, or have
We'll
you
try it out.
All right, what's
Absolutely.
the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Probably email would be the best. Dr. Mary at drmarycallings.com.
Dr. Mary at drmarycallings.com, and Callings, of course, is with a G. Why is there a G crowbarred into your last name?
I don't know.
I mean, everybody calls you Dr. Collins, probably.
Well, then sometimes.
And then you're like, there's a G in the end of it.
I guess to make me different.
I'm going to look that up. It does make you different. Callings, whether there's a G on the end. Your social media, if you want to follow us, the Dr. Mary's Chiropractical. Facebook is Highland Park Sports and Spine Medicine. Your Twitter and your Instagram is Dr. Mary Collings, with a G still.
Yes.
Even
We're going to
after-
leave it in there.
We're going to leave it. It's permanent. That G's there for it. All right, Collings with a G. And your website, drmarycollings.com. What'd you think? This is your first, your S1, E1 we're pretty much done.
It was fun. I love my cup more.
And your cup, and there's vodka in there, just in case. Actually, no, there's not. You know why? You got to get in the car and drive, and where are you headed?
I'm headed to the hockey game.
You're headed to the Stars. You're going to treat the Stars.
Absolutely.
All right. There you go. There's Dr. Mary's Chiropractical. Join us next week. And my cheesy reminder about Dr. Mary, she's got your back.